Welcome to this quarterly focus webinar. My name is Helen Symington and I am the Sales Executive in PTFS Europe. I'm going to talk to you today about Aspen Discovery. We are recording this webinar and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel at PTFS Europe alongside our other webinars and videos on our products and services. Aspen Discovery is a fully featured open source discovery system that combines your library catalogue with your website, e-content, digital archives, and enrichment from all major third-party providers. It improves relevancy and ease of use by acting like your opaque portal for users with a familiar Google-like search, which can be refined with filters or advanced searching. It has spelling suggestions inbuilt, provides native reading recommendations, displays all formats of titles within one result, and much more. It can be branded to match the look and style you want for your institution or individual branch, whilst sharing collections. Aspen Discovery was created to give users an improved experience over other discovery systems with less impact on library budgets. There is also an app, Lida, for Aspen Discovery if you prefer to access collections in that way. I'm going to dive straight in and show you some of our examples of our customers and what they have done with their Aspen Discovery. East Bartonshire have branded theirs with their colours and added a very lovely welcome message. They have some placards advertising what is available through their library. And they also have a lot of lovely browse categories, which are a staple of Aspen Discovery. And as you can see on their page, they have some that are curated by the librarians themselves, but they also have some highlighting their e-content. If I click into, for example, Maeve Binchy's A Week in Winter, you can see all of the formats that are available for this book. So we have the physical book itself, and then we have two audio versions. One is a physical CD and one is the e-audio. And if you wanted to borrow it through their borrow box, you could click onto this link here and that would take you straight there. I'm going to go back to their homepage. And in their placards, I'm just going to scroll through and I'm going to look for their sad lamp. And I'm going to click on that. Because one thing that I want to highlight as a great feature of Aspen Discovery is that you can upload your own images. For example, if you have a library of things like this sad lamp, then you can upload an image so that people can see exactly what that looks like. I'm going to move along to Halton Libraries, and you can already see how different their branding is and how that changes the look of the whole page. In this example, I am going to search for Murakami. And as I type, you're going to see that it is making suggestions for what it thinks that I am going to want to search for. If I just make sure that it's on Library Catalogue and then I click on Search, you can see along the top here that there are different media types available and the number of each of those media types. Aspen has predicted that what I actually meant to type was Murakami spelt properly as opposed to how I spelt it, but it has retained how I spelt it. And if I wanted, I could click on that and force it to search for that. I could search through the entire collection. I could search what's available now, and I can also search what is online. Along the left-hand side here, we've got our facets. So I could filter down by fiction or non-fiction, e-content, and all of these things. And this will change depending on what search you carry out. I'm going to scroll down a little bit through this to look for the Explore More section. And in the Explore More section, we have the big sporting read. So I'm going to click on that. And this, as you would expect, is a list of books related to sport. And the reason that it's suggested it for Murakami is because he wrote the book, What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. And yeah, it's all the way at the very bottom. So you can see here that in my search for Murakami, it suggested something about running because it knew that he had written a book about running. I just also want to mention that if you use a list management system, for example, Talis Aspire, Aspen Discovery can link directly to existing lists. And just to note that other reading list integrations are in development, so please do ask us if there is a specific system that you use. I'm going to move to Middlesbrough next. And again, you can see straight away how different it is. I really like this little scrolling image gallery that they have here of their venues and their activities. Underneath that, they have their libraries, their contact details, and the opening times. And I can click on this drop down menu and select a different library, and it changes straight away and gives me their opening times instead. They have some nice book carousels over on the left here. And this time I am going to search for running, which is already in the search bar. And I'm going to search the library catalogue and click on search. So you can see straight away that we've got books related to running, but I'm going to go down to the explore more section and I'm going to look at their lists in this scenario. They've got three lists. They've got Reading Well Teen, Penguin Readers, and Diversity Collection. But I want to look at the Explore More section, and this time I'm going to look at their web pages. Aspen can be linked to websites, and if those websites are publicly available and indexed, then Aspen Discovery can search these sites too. So you can see here that we have pages from My Town, My Future, and it has highlighted the top two for the running archives in My Town, My Future, and then we've got the Middlesbrough Athletic Club. But what I really want to draw your attention to is that I've clicked on the Explore More section a few times, and Aspen Discovery has retained my original search term running and is still suggesting things related to running. But it's also giving me the option to go back to my original search. And if you remember, whenever I first searched on it, this was the first book that was suggested at that time. Glasgow Kelvin has a really bright page that's full of great little adaptations. So I'm going to go to their smart search. And they have created this smart search guide for their students to give them some top tips for how to search through the website and through their library catalogue. But the other thing that they've done, which is really fantastic, is they have created video guides and they have embedded those video guides into their Aspen Discovery itself. So whenever you click on one of these videos, you watch it through Aspen Discovery, you're not taken to another website and you're not taken away from their webpage. I'm going to go back up and I'm going to search for running again, but this time I'm going to use in the drop down menu, I'm going to go for articles and databases and search for that. Aspen Discovery is actually searching each database separately, but displaying all of the results together. And one thing that I really like are these little research starters. So we've got one on running and we've got one on cross-country running. That is a really great starting point for students if they're doing any research on this. And if I click on running, it's going to take me to Kelvin's EDSCO login. Obviously, I don't have a login for that, so I'm just going to go back to their web page at this point. If I change that drop-down menu from articles and databases to everything and click on search again, we have this really fantastic bento box breakdown of all the different sections that Aspen is searching. So we've got our books and our ebooks, we've got our journals and our databases, our web results, and our library lists. And I also want to point out how accurate the search is. So I have searched for running, and Aspen has taken that term to be the physical activity of running. And that has been the top results that it's giving me, but it's also giving me other meanings of the term running. So for example, in this webinars and tutorials, it's pulled through that the library team will be running a series of webinars to introduce you to their online resources. I'm going to move along to Sefton Libraries. And one thing that I really love what Sefton Libraries have done is how they have embedded their events into their page. So I could click on each of these dates, these little calendar entries, and find out what activities are happening in each library. Alternatively, I could go up to the events tab along the top bar here, and it gives me I could browse through all of their different events, but I could also click on this little drop down menu. I'm going to pick Formby Library because I'm actually going to be in Formby next week, and I can look at all the events that Formby is holding, the times and the dates that they're happening, and a little brief description of what those events are. If I go back to their homepage and just scroll down it a little bit, this placard is a phenomenal placard for Sefton Library because they are announcing that they have just launched the Lita app for their users. And if I go into this placard and click on it, it takes me to a page that is describing what Lita is, what people need to do if they want to download it. Then the other thing on the homepage that I just want to point out from Sefton, which is a really lovely touch, they've also embedded their social media. So we've got their Instagram here that I can look at, and they've also got some lovely extra bits of information about if you want to do some local history ancestry searching. They explain about their borrow ebooks and audiobooks and magazines, and then they've got more information about the local area for their users. Next, I am going to go to HSE, which is a health library. And you can already see that this is a very pared back example of what Aspen can look at. But the main reason that I want to highlight this example is because they've got the languages option up here in the top right-hand corner. Aspen has access to 10 different languages at the minute, and we are adding more all the time. But HSC Libraries has offered their users 4 languages to choose from. So I could select, say, for example, Spanish, and the page itself would update to Spanish. If I logged in as a user, then I could set my preferences so that I always saw Spanish if that's what I wanted. I'm going to go to our own demo page because I have actually signed in as a patron to our demo page. Although the first thing that I want to show you is this great news banner along the top here, which is a great way just to highlight something really important that you want to flash up to people, or if there's something happening immediately. So for example, on a Friday, they've got library fun at 3 p.m. in the Central Library. If I show you my account though, as a logged in patron of this library, I've got this great summary of my checked out titles, any titles that I have on hold. Please ignore the fact that all of my books are overdue, and I've got some red flashy things here telling me that I really need to deal with that. I've also got some notices that the library has sent me. So there's a 4th notice that they've sent me. They've also told me that I've got a hold available for pickup. If I scroll down a little bit more, these recommended for me titles are being pulled through because I have given some 5-star reviews for books that I've borrowed, and that just lets the system tailor some recommendations for me, but that's not a requirement. You don't have to give recommendations or 5 stars if you don't want to. Along the left-hand side here, I've already pointed it out just a little bit, but again, I can drill down in my checked out titles. I can look at whether that they're physical items, or we can see here that this Aspen is connected to Libby, if that's something that you use as well. I can also drill down in my holds, whether they're physical items or if they're e-items. I can have a look at my fines and I can pay them off as well if I wanted to. I can have a look at any of the materials that I have requested from a library. I can have a look at the lists that I have created, my searches, and I can look at my reading history, but that is also something that you can turn off if you prefer. In my account settings, that's where I would do that. I could look at my preferences. I can tell the library how I like to be contacted, and I can also change my language settings in here too. So just to summarize, the Aspen Discovery platform is your all-in-one search. It allows you to search and find information from your library catalogue, e-resources, archives, and other resources. It links to other websites, both the library's own and more, and it is customizable for your institution. You also have the option of the Lita app. So I hope that has been informative. Do check out our YouTube channel for more content and make sure to subscribe to @PTFS Europe. Thank you very much.